Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for a pretty wild trading day on this Tuesday, the 30th of April, 2024, 6:15 p.m. Central Time. You know, we came in, we looked at data, and all of a sudden we realized that labor costs are staying up. Everything is not sitting right in this market. We're losing confidence. If you saw the Chicago Fed numbers come out this morning, if you're looking at where the benefit cost that kicked up the labor costs came from, and everything just came apart at the seams. And I mean everything. Is it the sell may go away theme in the market? And for the stocks, it could be. What hit the gold and the silver market is, number one, they got themselves up pretty high. Number two, they've been fighting a rising dollar. And number three, they're trying to fight rising interest rates. Now, at this point in time, interest rates are up tonight a fraction, a tick, the minimal amount that they can do. You're down on the energies. Why? Well, still no deal between Israel and Hamas, and not sure that one will happen or if it'll happen at all. It's very hard to negotiate from the Hamas's point with Israel when Israel keeps saying via their president that they're going to go in and hit Rafah, whether there's a deal or not. So what are you negotiating? Borrowed time? I mean, basically you're being told the big boys are coming in to get you, so you have a choice. You can probably peacefully leave. I don't think that's what they're going to do. You can duke it out, or you can just say, the heck with it. We'll leave things as they are. Just keep killing the Palestinian people. And what will happen is world will turn on you. Of course, what are there? Several thousand left of Hamas in Rafah, supposedly. I don't know if the numbers are real. We'll see. But when you come to the metal markets, the copper got hit real hard. You were over the Bollinger Band. I know there's naysayers out there that don't believe me when I say it's borrowed time, but it is. The platinum market got hit. We'll see all these in just a minute here. But the culprit, the rising dollar, rising interest rates, end of the month, let me make that clear. Fed tomorrow, the FOMC, and jobs reports on Friday. So you've got a lot coming at you. In the gold, we're getting a good correction. You're down right now, big deal, 1.4% for the week. The week before, you got to look at it, and you were down here too a little bit, 2.65%. So overall, a normal break of 5% in the market, nothing major there. The market's moving in a stepping ladder. Just think of it as stairs. You're marching down in price at this point in time. The pattern was broken. You now have a higher high, lower low. You stepped out of an uptrend. Where the market had been fighting the battle is where I told you what I call the line in the sand. I'm going to repeat it over and over to you. I think that the neutral zone, like a DMZ between North and South Korea, is the 18-day moving average of closes. When you're under it, often, I wish I could tell you it's all the time, but often that'll be resistance. When you're over it, breaks to it are normally the support zone as the market first gets over it and tries to figure out what to do. When looking back at it, that's where you're at. Could the market drop all the way down here? Yes, but that's not likely. More likely is the first challenge of the Bollinger Band, and you're there for all purposes against the 2300 level. That's how I'm looking at the market. And in terms of momentum, you're already in oversold territory. So what has changed hasn't really changed. Inflation is still rampant. The labor markets are still strong. Those are the elements you need for the Fed to say, our restrictive policy on interest rates is working. But right now, you're at that wobble point. You've heard me say that since last week, that we've got from the GDP on, as you study the numbers, you got to wobble. Even the PCE, if you looked at January, 3 months made it up, and January was way up here in price, and the other 2 months, they came down with March up just a fraction over February, but it was all January front-loaded. As time goes on, eventually the restrictive policies come into play. The gold-silver ratio, well, as you're coming up here, gold is gaining on the silver again. Could it get back up here? It could. I mean, I don't know where it's going to end. Once it crossed over the 18-day average and stayed there, it just wipes out The good that it had done the other way if you were hoping silver would gain on gold. Silver, too, like gold, is down to the lower Bollinger Band and through here. But look, this is a market that was over $30 an ounce, and you're suddenly back to 26. So if you think it's not a good-sized break, shame on you. What do you call a good-sized break? It's over 10%. You're in a correction phase. In the copper market, today you made the highest high of the whole move. You'll recall yesterday I said you keep hitting this Bollinger Band, be very careful of it. Markets don't like to stay over that. The market today got as high as 469 and then fell back to 454. And you say, well, what is that? Well, it's 15 cents. And 15 cents times $250 a cent is $3,000 in the futures markets, and you're making lower lows. You've also lost the bullish embedded reading. So when you lose a bullish embedded reading, if it stays lost before the market goes for this high, it often attempts a run at the closest main moving average. In the platinum market, as we came down here and rallied back yesterday and the day before, now that's today and yesterday, I said, now be careful. It's going to fight its battle at the 18-day average with trying to find support at the 100 to that number if it all gives ground back here. But this is where I think your battleground has shaped up. So we'll see what the next move is soon. It's not tipping its hand. It's got a lower low, higher high. And obviously, markets are going to react to whatever the Fed reaction is, and then the secondary reaction on the jobs data. But tomorrow is important, more for what Fed Chair Powell says when asked questions than the statement that we get from the Fed. That's my guess. In the dollar index, it has been a son of a gun to try to stay long the dollar, short the euro, which I think is the big play. But in terms of chart action, it's difficult. I'm the first to tell you, if not impossible. You come down into a correction mode, and then you get a pop up, and you lost the bullish momentum in the market, and you stayed overbought. That's difficult. So you put it together. What do you do with these markets? Well, I can tell you what I do. Number one, I look at the day's data. So tomorrow you're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association. That comes out at 6. The ADP April private sector jobs at 7:15. The S&P Global Group come out with their April manufacturing numbers. That's at 8:45. And I want to tell you something. I cut off here what the estimates are. This is my free version of what I do. In my paid version, my subscribers, they get what the estimates are, the current guesses, those things are in there. I just give you what the report's coming out here. It's not that I'm punishing you, but I have to have a reason that those people are paying your bill. The ISM data comes out at 9 o'clock. U.S. construction spending at 9. And, of course, at 1 o'clock, the FOMC. And earnings galore. We're getting them all over the place. I'll discuss those in detail today as we get into our SPDR ETF. But I'd love for you to join me first things in the morning. Number one, I try to make sense out of the craziness. I'll look at the fundamentals. I'll discuss with you in my videos what reports are coming out. I record at 6 in the morning now, so most of the reports are yet to come. Go with you what the trade is looking for, what the chart action is, and we're reviewing live. I'm not pre-reviewing the charts and then coming to here, this is scripted out and do that. No, we're doing it right then, right there, looking at often daily and weekly to see if they come together, try to put up the logic and try to come up with trades that make sense, both from a financial point of view, stop point of view, objective. If it's an embedded trade, I talk to you about it and what that is, and I teach you as I go. That is probably the biggest thing. So, IraEpstein.com under the word research. Can't miss it. One word. We used to put market research there. Now we call it research. You can also click right here. There'll be an icon. Give that a click and you'll be taken to that area. And I hope to see you in the morning. You take care. I'm Ira Epstein.